Hello everybody, it's me, the Real Local Maniac. I'm back again with another 16-bit wars. Now, as you can see, today I'll be playing WWF Super Wrestlemania. Flying Edge presents WWF Super Wrestlemania. Right, guys, I want you to pay attention to the music and also the Hulk Hogan there on the title screen. Check out Hulk Hogan ripping off his t-shirt like the way he used to do. There we go. Now I'm going to compare this title screen to the Super Nintendo version as well. Again, cosmetically, check out the two title screen belts there. There's your options: 1-player, 2-player, 1-on-1, Tag Team, Survivor Series, and WWF Championship. It's exactly the same thing on the Super Nintendo version. There's no real difference. One thing that is different though, I found the Super Nintendo version that little bit easier. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go for easy on the Megadrive version because it plays a slight bit harder. And there's the Ultimate Warrior. I remember this classic match against Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 6. Now, he's one of the wrestlers that didn't appear on the Super Nintendo version, as well as Shawn Michaels. Check out Ted DiBiase's music. And while you're checking out the music as well, check out the way they're drawn as well, the character select sprites there. That was Shawn Michaels before he became Heartbreak Kid. Here's a British Bulldog. I actually met the British Bulldog when I was about, 14, 15? Here's Papa Shango. And next up after Papa Shango will be IRS. And IRS's music, he had the worst ring music ever. Don't believe me? Check this out. How awful was that? Now, Papa Shango, IRS, and British Bulldog didn't appear on the Super Nintendo version. And here is the Macho Man, Randy Savage. Oh yeah. Doesn't he look like he's got something trapped in his zip there? Now the music sounds a little bit tinny, a little bit metallic. And there's Hulk Hogan, the immortal one himself. He was the #1 guy for, for WWF for a long time. I was never a big fan of Hulk Hogan, but you know what, just for the sake of this video, I'm going to be Hulk Hogan. Right, there's Howard Finkel introducing the wrestlers there with that little bubble thing there. And his opponent, from parts unknown, weighing 330 pounds, Papa Shango. Okay, now, Papa Shango, he also wrestled in the WWE later on as Kama, the Supreme Fighting Machine, and also as the Godfather. He was around for quite a bit. Alright, so let's talk about this particular game and the way it looks. Now, graphically, it's got some nice large sprites there. They're nicely animated as well. Let's talk about the background there, because that's one thing that does it's different on the Super Nintendo version. It's static there. There's no one moving. Everyone's just standing around. There's the announcers, Bobby the Brain Heenan, and I think it's Vince McMahon. It's got some nice sound effects there as you're hitting people. If you look at all the character sprites of the wrestlers, they look pretty much exactly identical, apart from the fact that they've got different skin colours or different ring tights and so on. But I think it is exactly the same model. Oh, I nearly forgot to mention, what this has really got going for it is that you can do your signature moves. So all the wrestlers can do their finishing off moves, and that is lacking on the Super Nintendo version. I don't exactly remember how to do it. If anyone does know how to do it, please feel free to comment on the video and let me know. Check out the animation there, Papa Shango sort of being Irish roots. Now, I actually own both versions. The first version I actually owned was the Super Nintendo version, and then later on I saw a review of the Megadrive version, which I'm playing now, and I saw it had different wrestlers, and because I was such a WWF fan, I had to actually buy this game just for the extra characters Now, in the select screen, you only had 8 selectable characters. In the Super Nintendo one, you've got 10, and some of them are different. That's why, you know, what made me get this game. Right, so we're coming up to the end of the Megadrive video, part of it. This is the Super Nintendo version of WWF Super Wrestlemania. Now, I wonder how many more times I'm going to say version during this video. For some reason, I can't stop. Right, LJN. Now, here's that title screen that I was talking to you about. Check out the music. Sounds a little bit better than the Megadrive. And there's Hulk Hogan there, looking a lot more photorealistic than he did in his Megadrive counterpart. On the Megadrive, he looks a lot more cartoony. And I think the reason why it was a bit more photorealistic was because the Super Nintendo had more colours as he used than the Megadrive. There's that title screen that I was telling you about. There's just the WWF belt, whereas in the Megadrive one there was 2, and this one you've got like one large photo of it. There's a Macho Man Randy Savage. Oh yeah! Check out his music. Now that does sound a lot better than the Megadrive. It doesn't sound as tinny. And there's the Undertaker, old school Undertaker. I remember when he first appeared, I believe it was in Survivor Series 1992. And that really captures, you know, the music really well. And there's Hulk, one half of the legendary tag team, the Road Warriors, the Legion of Doom. Hulk unfortunately passed away a few years ago. Greatest tag team ever. There's Ted DiBiase. His son now is wrestling in the WWE. And there's Sid Justice, also wrestled as Psycho Sid. There's Typhoon, used to be known as Tugboat Thomas, used to be Hulk Hogan's buddy until he teamed up with Earthquake. And there's the immortal one himself, Hulk Hogan. And one of my other favourite wrestlers of all time was Jake the Snakes Roberts. Now this guy had amazing ring psychology. He made everything look real, and that DDT that he did was absolutely devastating. Okay, so you can see the colour scheme looks very different to the way it looks on the Megadrive. This looks somewhat a little bit brighter, I believe. Once again, you get Howard Finkel introducing the opponents. And again, like I said, look at those photographs there, or the pictures of them. It looks a lot more like photographs than the Megadrive. Weighing in at 460 pounds, one half of the natural disasters, Earthquake! Right, so here we go. Now, like I was saying before on Megadrive, check out the character models, the sprites there. There's 2 different sets this time. You've got the Tubio guys like Earthquake and Typhoon, whereas in the other one, you only had the standard model, which they all look pretty much exactly the same thing. Now, I love the way this is animated. It's animated a little bit better than the Megadrive. Sound effects, pretty similar though. Still, yeah, the sound effects, there's no real difference in this. But the animation, you can definitely tell there, it's got a few more frames. The other thing I wanted to talk about as well is that I feel the Super Nintendo version controlled that a little bit better actually, because it made use of the Super Nintendo control pad, whereas the Megadrive version, you could only, I think, only had 3 buttons to choose from, which was rectified when you ended up getting the 6-button control pad for the sequel, which was WWF Royal Rumble. The other great thing I wanted to talk about this version here is the background. Check out the backgrounds. I was going to say nicely animated. And check out the announcers. So for all these subtle little differences, I'm going to choose the Super Nintendo version as the winner.
You win!